It's time for Veterans Issues, the show that brings you information about veterans, military, and their family. Now here's your host, Ken Rollins.
Welcome to Veterans Issues. Ken Rollins here. Appreciate you tuning in today. I hope you're staying warm. Today we're going to talk about the right place. Now this is the right place. We're going to talk about the right place on the right place. Get you a pen. You're going to need this. We'll talk with Valerie Mason and Rita Flegel. Stay where you are. I'll be right back. Welcome back in. Thanks for tuning in this week. I hope that you weathered the storm. As we're doing this show today, we've got some bad weather on the horizon, and hope that we can do this and get out of here before the big one hits. So stay warm, get you some propane gas, make sure you got it all, things you need. Milk and bread, got to have that milk and bread. Not going to tell you why you need it, but someday I will. Today's guests are from the right place, and we're going to talk about that for you veterans out there. Now, if you're a veteran, if you're the widow of a veteran, or you know a veteran, this is some good information that they need to have, and we're going to have a phone number there if you hadn't already seen it, and I'll just give you the phone number. It's 256-238-6231. You need to write that number down, because this is for veterans out there that I guarantee you they don't know what we're going to talk about today. So welcome to the show, Valerie Mason. And Rita. Good. I got that Flegel. Is that
Flegel.
right? Flegel.
That's right.
Never hear that. If I mess it up, you let me know. No, don't let me know. I'm going to start with you, Valerie. Tell me about what the right place is. What is the right place?
Well,
It sounds like a good restaurant. Or...
Well, we're the right place for housing and supported services. And Rita is our executive director, and she could probably tell you more about the organization. We're a nonprofit.
Well, let's just hold it right there. Rita, tell me about it.
Well, the Right Place was founded primarily to deal with housing issues in general. So we're looking at Calhoun County and a 9-county rural area. And we know that we have a lot of homeless people. We have a lot of people living in rural areas in substandard housing. People need work done on their homes. So we're trying to work on those kinds of issues and fill the gap where people are living in some really horrible situations here in our part of Alabama.
This is outside of a HUD situation, things like that.
We do currently have one program that we're working with HUD, but the program that we're going to talk about a little bit in depth today is a specific program for veteran homeowners, and it is not HUD or federally funded in any way.
Okay. So, because this is Veterans Issues,
right.
Which one of you wants to address that about the veterans, how it helps veterans, that kind of thing?
Well, I can talk a little bit about the program overall. As part of our mission in trying to address affordable housing, safe housing, decent housing, we're really looking at that decent and safe housing issue, and also accessibility. So we know we have veterans living in places that they might need accessible kitchens or ramps. And
wheelchairs.
Exactly, those kinds of things. So this program, we actually operated it last year when they did not specify veteran households. It was just low income or moderate income households. And it's really designed for people that own a home who just cannot afford to make some major repairs that they need done on their home.
Okay, we got a veteran out there who's on disability. Valerie, if you need to get that chart, go ahead, because I'm going to ask you to tell me about the moderate, who would apply. So the first thing that a veteran is going to ask me when I say this is, do I fit into that? My income is X number of dollars.
Yes.
Do they fit into that? Tell me what a low to moderate income veterans consider.
Well, one person, just a veteran living alone, can make up to $28,950, and most of the veterans who draw a check qualify for that, because normally it's not that much.
Sure, right.
If there are two people in the household, it goes up to like $33,000. That would be possibly husband and wife. We do count all income that's in the home for anyone over the age of 18. So if they have a grown adult daughter or son living with them and they work, we include that income also.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't move them up to 3 people, and so as it goes up, the income level goes up.
So
number of people
if
in
you
the
got man and woman in there that's got 30,000, 33,000, and then the daughter's living at home making $1,000 a month,
It moves them up to 3 people is $37,000.
Okay. No matter what her or his income would be, that additional one? Okay, so that's low income. What about moderate?
Well, it's anything. This is the low to moderate. It's the number of people in the household by HUD standards. That you can go and we get the income calculations from them.
So it's everybody in the household combined income is what the program would count.
Right. Yeah. So if a veteran's sitting out there and they're needing winterization, they need access to the home. They've got a wheelchair, but they can't kind of transgress that incline.
Right. Can build a ramp.
A lot of people that I know have wheelchairs for inside the house,
right,
but they can't take them out because number one, they can't have any way to transport it, and number two, they can't go outside and ride around with the kids because they can't roll it outside the house, so their quality of life is affected.
Right.
But so you would do that. You would help with a ramp. They fill out. How do they get the form? I mean, is it a bunch of forms or?
There is a good bit of paperwork involved. We are what we call an intermediary. We work with Noble Bank and Trust in Anniston, but we do all the paperwork. So the veteran comes to the office. They normally deal with me. We sit down, go over all the paperwork, fill out all the information, give them everything that they need to collect to bring back to us, and it's pretty painless for them. It's just some collection of paperwork.
It seems to me like a W-2 is what they're going to need.
They need their photo ID. They need their DD-214 or current military orders. If it's a spouse of a veteran, that we need the DD-214 and the death certificate, marriage certificate. There's some supporting documents. If it's, we need the income statement. So if they're drawing a check, usually
From
they
the
get
VA, you can
they
call
get
down your
a
VA.
letter first of the year, or whether it's Social Security, they normally get a notification first of the year of what their income is. They just bring that in. We make a copy of that, and
just basic proof of income.
yeah. And we need 2 consecutive bank statements. That's how they match their income against what they
2
say.
consecutive 2 months.
2 months,
Okay.
2 months of bank statements. If they bank, if they don't, we have a form for that also. If they don't have a checking account or savings account.
Wow, that's interesting because when you told me about this, I got to thinking. I know some veterans that fit into this,
Yes.
and I know some that have been almost homeless because they had no way to fix their house. The wintertime, they was freezing, and this would be able if they're a veteran, discharged veteran. What if they don't have any disability, no disability check?
If they have no income, they're still eligible.
Okay.
Yes.
So they don't have to be, and what I'm getting at is they could be living with a parent or something,
They have to own their own home.
Oh, okay.
They have to
They
be
do
on
have
the
to
deed.
provide their deed, but for veterans, they only have to be in the house for 30 days, as opposed to, I think, normally a year is what they want them to be. And it's a 5-year forgivable mortgage is what it is. So,
No, I like that. And
it's completely forgiven on 5 years.
the thing about, is it for mobile homes too?
Yes.
Like a double wide or whatever?
Yes, they have to, of course, own the mobile home and own the land.
And the land.
Right. But that qualifies them too.
Now, where did I hear the connection Noble Bank? How does that work?
Well, the program runs through Federal Home Loan Bank of Atlanta, and that is a mortgage lending bank. And so there's 4 of these centers across the country that are mortgage lending banks. So if you go down to Noble Bank and want to borrow money, if they may need to borrow the money they're going to lend to you from one of the mortgage lending banks. So,
They said they got to go to a break.
Okay.
I'm trying to cut you off here. We're going to come back and talk more about this. I hope you're interested in it. Get your veterans around and get this information. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Veterans Issue. We're talking about the right place. And let's get that phone number, because I always tell you get the pen. This is very important you get this. It's 256-238-6231. It's on the screen right here. So call that number and get that information. I guarantee you that'll answer the phone. So to do that. Now, what if somebody was talking about veterans that need help repairing their home? Does it go beyond repairs? Do you have anything for purchasing a home, or is it they have to already own the home?
Yes, this particular program, they have to own their own home. Their name has to be on the deed.
Okay, but it doesn't have to be paid for. That'd be
No,
a mortgage.
no.
It's in
And
their
there's no
name.
credit check, so if their credit's bad
Yeah.
or if they have a mortgage already, it doesn't make any
Yeah,
difference.
very few people I know have got one without a
Right.
mortgage on it.
Yeah.
But these at the Noble Bank, I cut Rita off too far. Did you get everything in there about the Noble Bank thing? That's what I was saying about how they.
Well, the main thing is, your local bank will borrow from a mortgage lending bank, and that bank, the mortgage lending bank, in this case Federal Home Loan Bank, makes a profit off of the local bank. And they're mandated by their bank charter to give 10% of their profits back to the communities. And they can decide, their board decides every year, how are they going to do that? How are they going to reinvest back in the communities? And this year, they selected the veteran households as who they wanted to offer that reinvestment money to. So in the past, they've offered, different programs, different services, all related to community redevelopment or people down payment assistance, that kind of thing. But this year, they're really interested in working with our veterans, and we're proud of that.
How does that money recoup? Will you go out, somebody's spending the money, how did they get that money back? How does the right place?
So we provide, Valerie will gather up all that paperwork, and it goes through Noble Bank. They submit it to Federal Home Loan Bank, and once it's approved, the money comes back to Noble Bank, and then we disperse it, and we work with local licensed home builders right here from the county to come out and do the work in those
Okay, you
houses.
do that. You're the right
Yes.
place.
Yes.
See, I had some work done in my home. I'm 100% disabled, but I had some work done in my home by the VA. I had to find my own contractor, which I'm happy with. I did everything. I was able to design what I wanted, what I needed, not what I wanted, but what I needed. And it wasn't what they wanted me to do, but they allowed me to have what I needed. And the ramp was not an answer for me because I live in a patio home that's to the ground. I mean, a ramp would have to be all the way to the street. So
Right.
anyhow, that's so you can be mortgaging a home, and you just need some help with weatherization, or what about if you needed a roof?
New roof, it covers the heating and cooling unit,
A roof or a roof?
roof.
But there
You're
is a
from the
limit
South.
on, I don't know if we talked about the amount of money that's available per household. Have we mentioned
Yeah,
that
let me
yet?
know. We haven't talked
Okay.
about that.
Why don't you talk about that, because you can.
Well, it's up to 15,000. A returning veteran is eligible for up to the 15,000, and a regular veteran that didn't serve in an overseas conflict is eligible up to 12,500.
Wait a minute. Explain the two veterans to me.
Okay, we have veterans.
I said the wrong word, veteran.
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 They have veterans, and then they call returning veterans, which are people that have served overseas in a conflict intervention.
Yeah, well, we got Vietnam veterans like myself,
Yes, and you would be a returning veteran,
and we're
eligible for the 15,000.
for the 15,000.
Right.
But somebody's in Afghanistan, Iraq,
Yes.
12,000.
No. If they served overseas in a conflict,
You mean a war?
well, they're calling it a conflict intervention.
No, they don't call it around my show.
I know.
Conflict
That's
is
the
when-
way the bank said.
Yeah, I know it. But when a conflict, next time you hear somebody say
Yes,
that, tell
I
them
know.
a conflict when you want to go to Longhorn and somebody else wants to go to Red Lobster, that's a conflict.
Okay.
But when they're shooting at
The
you,
war.
it's
Right.
no longer a
Yeah,
conflict.
yeah.
I'm just saying that because I've had some problem when I'm building memorials. They want me to put Korean conflict on it, and I won't do that.
Yes.
Vietnam conflict,
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I always put that WAR
Right.
on that.
Yeah.
But anyhow, that was, so we got the veterans out there. It's nothing to do with, it's all just about home. It's nothing for transportation or anything like that.
No, this program is not. It's simply like rehabilitation, home rehabilitation program.
And you pay the builder. The
Yes.
builder works for you.
Yes.
The veteran doesn't have to write in checks,
Nope.
not responsible for paying them.
No.
So once it's agreed that this is what needs to be done and they're approved, they work with the right place.
That's right.
Their commitment in this is they agree to live in the house for 5 years. because it's 5-year forgivable mortgage. So there's zero interest, zero payment. They don't get monthly statements. They don't get anything from the bank.
Well, I like that. Y'all said 5 years. I don't even buy green bananas. y'all really optimistic on that.
Well, and what we hear sometimes from folks is, well, what if something happens to me?
Yeah.
Is that going to become a burden on my family? And the answer is no, it's forgivable. So it's forgivable if you were to die.
That's good, yeah, because that's a lot of things we don't like to talk about, and I don't like to talk about either, but I have to talk about. We were in the green room talking about DD 214, you know,
Right.
your discharge paper. They're so important for everything. They tell so much about you. When you was overseas,
Right.
it tells about how many dependents, it tells about so many things. And when you pass on, and we all going to do that, you need to have that, and that will, but to say that it's forgiven, that's a lot out there. So for veterans out there saying, well, I don't know, you know, I'll leave that on my wife, and then, you know, so you're not doing it. That's a great thing. And are y'all part of a foundation, or are you part of a, I don't know what, a United Way, anything like that? Are you just an organization that does these things? I don't understand where, I don't know anything about the Right Place.
Well, the Right
I always
Place,
went the wrong place.
The Right Place is a 501c3 nonprofit agency, so we're operated under a board of directors. And we do work with other agencies locally as part of a homeless coalition. And, you know, we work with our nonprofit agencies in Etowah and Calhoun County because when, you know, as you know, resources are real low in this area. So we have to network and work together.
Yeah.
But we are a 501c3 nonprofit, and this is just one of our programs that we're
So
working
if somebody, so can somebody donate to the Right Place?
Yes, we'd love that.
Directly to you or through somebody?
Directly to us, and it's tax deductible.
And that's through this phone number they can call and get the information.
That's
Absolutely.
correct.
Do that. Then that's right off on their taxes.
Absolutely.
What a great thing.
Absolutely.
That's there's so many things. You know, you mentioned the homeless. I'm on the State Board of Veterans Affairs. We did a survey to find out how many homeless veterans in Alabama, because I was skeptic. I really was. And so I asked for a study, and we did a study, and we found that now we've got a directorate of homeless for the state of Alabama as a result of that. There's 70% of our homeless veterans, guess where they live? In wooded areas, and
Yes.
off of the interstates and the trees, not under the bridges, but, well, they live under bridges, but the trees, it was wooded areas is what it was, came back, the result. And there's no way. We got 1 minute. What am I missing that we need to talk about this last minute?
All they need to do is give us a call. We will talk them through everything that they need to know, everything they need to bring us. We just keep in touch with them. And it's really painless for them once they get the paperwork gathered up. We basically just kind of get a hold of them and try to take care of them and walk them through it and help them to understand.
I would add we have a few of these ongoing right now, and it's really for the people that we're able to assist, almost like a miracle for them when they realize what they can have here. People who've been suffering with a big hole in their roof or window problems. They've got air coming through the wall.
No heat.
Wow.
So they're making it month to month on the income they have, but you know they just don't have enough to pay for those big expenses.
To put a roof on or new air
Wow,
conditioning.
that's great stuff. Well, I appreciate you coming. Fist bump.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you, Ken.
And I hope you
Ken.
folks out there pay attention. Got that phone number. We'll be right back with news that you can use. Stay right there. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. Appreciate the folks from Right Way. Right Way, Right Place. Right Way is a drugstore. From the Right Place for coming in and doing the show. I learned a lot, and I hope you did. You got any question about it? My information is on the screen here shortly, right up under here, and just give me a call, and I'll tell you how to get in touch with them if you didn't get that number today. I can't believe you didn't have a pen to do that. Now, here's where you need the pen again. To see this show, somebody that may not have the show on their cable or whatever, write this down, WEAC TV 24. When you get on that website, go over to the right side. That'd be on this side. Go on this side. It says On Demand. Click on Demand and scroll down to Veterans Issues. You'll see this show. And you can tell other folks that don't have the access to viewing it. But I can't believe there's many people that not, because I know all of you out there. I can see you. So anyhow, folks, I want you to, this is a cold time of the year, your pets and stuff. Please think of them when it's cold weather. just go outside, step outside your house tonight and ask yourself, would you like to be outside there? Bring them in for a while. Find a room, find a carport somewhere, bring your pets in. But over at the regional, She-Hall Regional Humane Shelter, they need some blankets, throws, sheets, and other items for the shelter. And here's the phone number for over there to find out what all they do need. It's 256-241-3647. That's over by the landfill. And people are dumping their pets because of this cold weather. They love them till it's time to have to bring them in out of the cold, and then they can dump them over there. So help them out. There's a crisis going on there right now. We need not a crisis per se, but they need some help with those items. You got some old blankets and stuff around. That's a good use for them. And when you're getting ready to buy your tags this year, think of that law enforcement tag that we've shown on here so many times and talked about. The revenue from that will go to the building the memorials up in Anniston. And it's also, this is the tag I'm talking about on the screen. And it'll also go to the to the memorial up in Washington, D.C. And if an officer pulls up behind you and you got that tag on there, he knows something. He knows you would really appreciate the service of law enforcement. Don't forget about Oxford Tire Service. They give 10% to veterans for a discount. Now, they get nothing from that for the show. They're just good friends of mine, and they take care of veterans. So if you got something wrong with your car, you need some tires, whatever, go by to Oxford Tire on 78 and tell Dale Harbin and Alan Robinson them take care of you. Now, Veterans Moments you see on here hundreds of times a week. That is paid for by Steve Hurst, Randy Wood, Barbara Boyd, and K.L. Brown. And that's information that you veterans out there need to watch and get that information, because the bills are passed every year in Montgomery that you have no way of knowing about them. I want to thank Judge Brenda Stedham for taking on the Veterans Court for this area. That we got about 30 of them now in the state of Alabama. She went through school and all that stuff, took it upon herself to do that, and I'm so proud that we've got that going here. Colonel Potts is working there with battle buddies and mentoring and that kind of thing, so that's a great thing for our community. It's a win-win for the veterans and for the community, so thanks to Judge Stedham. Now let's see what I've got. I'm running out of time as usual. Let's see, HMR is still hiring down in at HMRveteranservices.com. HMRveteranservices.com. They're still hiring. Give them a hook up there, see if you're something you might be looking for. Doggone, I'm running out of time. This week's shout outs go to Erica, Michelle, Shoshone, Betty Carr, Kim and Christina, Caitlin and Bella, and salute goes to all the first responders who have been working in the snow and ice. See you next week here on Veterans Issues. We're gone.